Hello, love. Stop doubting what you know is good for you. That's how they want me to start this message. I'm speaking to the earth angels here, the sensitive souls. From here on, that's how I'm being guided to direct each and every one of you. There's a lot to say here about our journey and our evolution as sensitive souls, whether we identify as being light workers, starseeds, healers, energy workers, shadow workers, light workers, the whole shebang. I am beginning to essentially really dissolve what all of this is. It's turning into something else is what I'm hearing. I came across a video recently about the true teachings of the yin-yang. And the analogy that was given was of a mountain, seeing a mountain, and one side of the mountain was lit by the sun, and the other side of the mountain was dark. And as the sun moved around the mountain, the dark became light, and the light became dark. It's not necessarily about opposites and one thing being another and trying to balance those things. It's actually about the same thing evolving, the same thing, just a different aspect of it. So what I feel coming through here, and I have the energies of Archangel Sandalphon very, very strongly coming through this message, as well as the Venusian angelic realm, is a deeper understanding, a knowing, if you will, of you not fighting with yourself anymore. This is what I mean, 222 on the counter, when I talk about truly remembering the truth of who you are. The crazy thing is right now is that I have not pulled any cards out. Isn't that crazy? I thought I was they are directing me to a deck, so I may have to pause the video and get that deck. But this is a really straightforward message. I am recording this Earth date, August 28th, 2026. There's been a lot going on energetically. When isn't there? As a sensitive soul, when you begin to really open up to the energies of what's going on right now. We are in eclipse season. Now, they want me to address this with regard to the moon. If you go down certain rabbit holes, people are talking about whether the moon is actually real or not, organic or inorganic. What I'm getting from my guides right now at this moment in time, the angelic realm, I'm specifically speaking to this. I'm also getting the energies of Commander Ashar wanting to come through to speak to this. Lazar. Arcturian energy. Wow, the whole shebang. It's wanting to come through now. I'm getting the dragons coming through as well. I'm hearing unanimously that it always was organic material and organic matter. But there are properties of it that you would consider inorganic. I'm hearing a confirmation on the whole concept of stations, okay? But this idea that somehow there's nothing inside it is a whole other topic for discussion, is what they're saying to me. And they do want to say here that there's a whole other, perhaps video message or something that wants to come through with that. Some of these things, though, in all honesty, I'm considering putting into another platform like I've been discussing. The platform is taking quite a while to materialize, and there's a reason for that, because the material in this particular platform I know is going to be for some very specific souls who I'm hearing are very interested in the multidimensional aspects of truth. There is divine truth and divine law, but then there are multidimensional expressions of it. And as I'm hearing, as children of oneness, of the concept of the one and unity, and this idea of unity consciousness, you see spirit and energy in everything. There is the divine in everything. Everything that is true and organic. Everything that is essentially has a soul or a frequency that it holds, right? Okay. Now, you understand that inherently. A lot of earth angels are going to get this, right? And you know, there's nothing, the other thing that they're saying to me too is that this idea of resonating, what is an earth angel, essentially, is what they're saying. It's a frequency. Your soul holds a particular frequency connected to the angelic realm. I'm hearing with that Christ consciousness, Christ being a very, very important example of this, of the angelic realm. I get the Venusians and the angelic realm of the Venusians coming through a lot connected to him, right? I'm also hearing that there's been a kind of war on the angels. And there's an agenda to get you to, and while they're saying there are imposters out there, you're going to know this right off the bat. 707 on the counter as I say that. A deeper knowing, the energy of going deeper, that's the 7. Spiritual wisdom. 7 being a very sacred number. I'm also hearing the 7 realms with that. Okay, so this is talking again about the energetic body and the energetic blueprint of what it is to hold angelic frequency or angelic codes. This was the original human, in a sense. So a lot of what the remembering is a coming back to the angelic energies and the angelic frequencies, the true divine angelic energies and frequencies. Most often what we refer to as seeing with the eye of the heart is what I'm hearing. And I'm getting like Mary Magdalene energy, resonating with that Christ consciousness, Christ energy. And I'm also, the little prince is also coming through with that. And it wouldn't be the first time that he's come through, that energy. And also a little nod here to artists and writers who channel that energy. And you can understand that I'm also getting the prophet with that. Yeah, there's a lot coming through with that. Okay, so to say that you are an earth angel, this is not some ego trip in any way. It's very important for those of you who are finding this message to, is that the right word? They're showing, because I heard claim, but claim here is what they're saying here is embody. When you claim something, they're not giving me the energy here of something you take over, right? This is an energy that's very important for sensitive souls to actually embrace, is this energy of claiming something, of making it yours, of saying, yes, I am this, because most sensitive souls, most of the time, are not working from the energy of their ego. They're working from the heart and, by way of that, also the emotional body. Now, there's pros and cons to that, is what they're saying to me, because the emotional body is the gateway to the heart. Okay? The emotions are, I'm hearing feedback sensors. I'm hearing sensory feedback. Okay, so I'm also hearing you'll understand if you are a winged one. You get this. You understand this. Okay. And this is winged one. I'm getting in the angelic sense, but I'm also getting a lot of bird beings. Okay. And they're directing me back to the energy of the element of air and the sylphs. Because there was some Fae energy that wanted to come through here. Thank you, Spirit. And specifically, this is what I heard Archangel Sandalphon say. Watch it flow. The energies of trust and alignment are the true frequency of your soul. Here to attune the earth angels, the earth angels, the earth angels. And then I was getting the energy of the Fae, specifically the sylphs coming through, the air elementals, the soothing of the mind in order to ease the overthinking. Okay. So that's going to be pretty much the next crux, I think, of this message. And I will pause the video for a moment just to get the decks that they're calling me to do. But they had it. It was coming in quite urgently. So I just sat down, opened up Sacred Space, and then just started channeling. I am working with honey calcite. I just want to bring the frequency and the energy of these crystals in here. I'm working with honey calcite here. And also this little piece of rough amethyst. These specific energies coming together, funny enough, they're very Lyran in their qualities in terms of the color rays, very golden and purple. But I'm getting balancing the will power center because I had a message about the liver and the solar plexus coming through as I started, right before I sort of started this reading. I was guided to simply open up the book of symbols that I have to whatever page opened, and it was about the liver. And the liver has to do a lot with these emotions that come up that we would deem negative, like anger or wrath. I think guilt and shame were in there, but they're confirming that now for me. It's about understanding the more divine wisdom in these emotions and working with the emotional body. This is a huge PowerPoint for sensitive empathic souls, is learning how to understand the alchemy of this. And they want to sort of begin by speaking to the energy of overthinking. Overthinking essentially gets us out of our willpower. Overthinking essentially gets us out of our sovereignty. This is kind of coming off the previous message. These messages are all evolving, as you can see, right? So I might think, like I might have something come through in a particular message and I think it's going to go in a certain direction. And then the next video goes in a different direction, but then we're still touching upon that. And they're showing me that that's the nature of the cycles of the emotional body and the cycles of time is what they're saying to me, and the true nature of understanding how cosmic time and galactic time work. This is not about being stuck in a loop. This is a more spiral-like vortex energy of evolution. They are pointing me, and I'm just going to write this down now. They're pointing me to a video that I had posted. Maybe it was in 2023. Was it that far back now? That spoke to this, about the multidimensionality of the spiral. And how I'm going to try and draw this now. I don't have my chalkboard to hand, but I've got my notebook. So when we look at a spiral kind of two-dimensionally one on, it looks like this, right? They're also showing me the energy of a nautilus. When you actually go into a shell, though, from a different perspective, it looks different, right? So you have like this kind of an energy that's like a vortex, where if I'm looking at it from the side, this is what it looks like. When I'm looking at it from in here, this is what it looks like. When I'm looking at it from the other end, it looks like it's spiraling out this way, right? If I'm looking at it from this side. And what they were trying to show us in that video, if I remember correctly, I'm going to link it though. I'll put it up here. I'll just put a note. If I can find it and remember which one it is. Yeah. It could have been the video on Mama Gaia. Something to do with Mama Gaia. And her speaking to what the divine matrix actually looks like, or is like. And it's this whole idea. It was also about timeline shifting as well. Because at any point in time, the spiral can hit another vortex, and you've got overlapping energies that can connect, or you can jump off of one and go on to the next is what. So I'm just hearing with that, the multidimensionality of your purpose can be many, many different things. Don't put yourself in a box. When we overthink, we are putting ourselves in a box. A lot of this has to do with trusting and believing in ourselves. And you know, it's not obviously, if we're working with the air element here, the air element is connected to the mind and the mental body, and everything sits on a spectrum with that, right? So you can have the brilliance of the mind, the clarity of the logic, the clear thinking, the truth being expressed. A lot of air energy is also connected to expression, but I'm also getting fire with that too, which is interesting. A lot of like expression through words. When it's infused with the energy of your soul and spirit, it's in like its most exalted form. Okay. But again, all of these energy centers, all of them work together in tandem when you're looking at it from a much more holistic expression and working space. Okay. All right. So the spiral, see, and I'm just going to continue to sort of get off topic here, but it's not really getting off topic is what they're saying to me again. And so that's another thing that they're pointing that out to say to you that is my own limitations coming up, or they're telling me that those are remnants of an old working framework, that everything needs to make sense right now. It doesn't. In the mind, things do not need to make sense right now. This is the difference between when you're working intuitively and on instinct, and crazily enough, a lot of that works from here. It works from the body. It works from the gut, the liver. I also heard with that the spleen. Okay, if you are, students of human design, and you know that kind of having that sort of authority, most people, not all people though, but the majority of people work from that center. They have, solar plexus authority. I think that's the most common. And then it goes to the sacral, if I'm not mistaken. And then I know that there's different centers. Okay. I've dabbled in human design and I find it very fascinating. But they're showing me everything works in tandem. So for some of us, our intuition is going to be propelled through our sacral, for example, through our gut. For some of us, it's going to be through a thought. And this is where we need to exercise the language of our soul, practice understanding the language of our soul, essentially our intuition. Okay. On that note, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to get the decks that they are guiding me to. I think it's just going to be one. I'll be back in a second. And I'm back. I'm going to be asking. They were already showing me this deck, the Mystical Wisdom card deck. Got a lot of earth, fae, elemental energy in that. Some angelic energy as well, not just a few. And the Prism Oracle as well. Okay. Specifically with the Prism Oracle, what they want to point out here, 22 on the counter, as I start again here, they want to point out the multidimensionality of light. You see that? The different expressions, the different colors. This could also be for some of us a very clear message about working with color therapy as a way to balance or transmute the energies of overthinking in the mind. I'm getting a lot of blue with that too. Ideation is at the bottom of the deck. Interesting, eh? Because we're talking about the mind. And of course, ideas This in Greek, and I'm hearing with that also κάτι δεν είναι το ίδιο, isolation, something not being the same. What I'm getting with that is the energy. I'm actually seeing the sun symbol in here. I'm seeing the dot, but then I'm seeing a circle around it, even though it's not present on this card. Okay, so this is interesting because the color on this card is kind of white gray. And I'm hearing with that the space between. Is that also a Dave Matthews Band song? The space between. I'm hearing the space between is the frequency you hold. Surrender. Look at these colors. That's a first. I don't think I've ever had the same two colors come out like that at the same time. This one's got a little bit more mauve in it. I don't know if you can see that. And this is kind of like the spiral energies that they're showing me. I'm seeing the Vesica Pisces in that, but I'm also seeing an evolution and growth of something turning into something else. Going back to the yin yang, talking about the yin yang. Trust is at the bottom of the deck. Oh, and that wants to come out too. Movement. Trust that you're moving in the right direction. Okay, one really straightforward message that may be a confirmation for some of you right now watching this is, if you're doing the work, meaning you're tending to your energy, you're connecting to your heart, you're embodying that energy and frequency, you're not getting caught up in any kind of anxiety of the mind, any kind of fear or hypervigilance. If you're doing the work, it's now time to trust. It really is, because, and funny enough, this is something that's come up. I've been feeling this come up for me lately as well. There's a lot of noise out there, especially in the spiritual community. There are a lot of theories out there. There are a lot of belief systems and so-called rules out there. But what we need to remember is that some of them, not all of them, but some of them come from a time where the frequencies were different and that now they've shifted. And again, this is another example of when you box yourself into a system, when you box yourself into some kind of religious system or belief system. When it is no longer resonating with the core of your heart, the purity of your soul and resonance, then it's not serving you anymore in a positive way. I want to make that absolutely clear. This is about coming from a very pure heart-centered frequency, and I'm hearing with that bridging the gap. Okay, they want me to go back to the Prism Oracle. So if you look at it this way, it's telling a story, is what they're saying. When you come from a foundation of trust at the bottom of the deck, this was that blue energy that I was picking up on earlier as well. Clarity. Knowing who you are, right? We move out of this energy of isolation because as souls here on a spiritual journey, to actually affect some kind of shift. Can you see that? It's kind of blurring out. Look at how white it's getting. It's crazy. It's crazy. It literally looks like a portal of light right now as I'm holding it against the screen. It's literally reflecting. You see that? You can see it now. You need to come out of isolation at some point. And they're showing me now the yin yang again, and I'm seeing the dot on each side of that sort of teardrop fish-like aspect of it. At some point, you've got to come out of isolation. And this can look like surrendering to something that is not completely new to you. It could just feel not familiar. A new way of having a spiritual practice, a new way of behaving. It could be, this is crazy, it could be something that, they're giving me, this is crazy, the specific example they're giving me is like, for example, the use of particular medicines. Let's just put it that way, okay? You choose of your own divine free will. I am neither not endorsing or endorsing the use of any of these, okay? But for some of us, it's like we don't even go there. For us, it just doesn't, it's something that we're not open to, right? For some people, though, they may have not been open to it. And I'm saying that it will always stay that way, right? It's not going to change. But for some of us, it can actually really help us right now. Temporarily, for a period of time, or maybe using it very intentionally can actually be something that can really support you right now energetically on your journey. And maybe there's some judgment and some fear coming up around that because this was something you always thought, no, never going to do that, because maybe you were told it's not good, right? I'm speaking to these things very consciously, okay? I'm speaking to these choices and these shifts very consciously, very aware of what you're doing. And for some reason, you are being guided to embrace that. The other thing that I'm getting coming through is food. And this was something that had come through, God, I don't know how long ago in another video, about this whole idea in a lot of spiritual circles that veganism is the only, like eating nothing from animals, nothing at all, the animals that offer themselves nothing, that is the only way to be when it comes to being spiritual. Not the case. For some of us, it's very different. It's when you honor what you're eating and you're very intentional about what you're eating, no matter what that is. Because everything to a certain degree has energy or has a soul. You can argue that, right? So, and they're saying to me that's not even entirely correct. It's funny. It's how we interpret it, right? It's honoring the energy. It's honoring what you have. That's the key. That's the key. And being very intentional about it and being very conscious about what you're doing and how you're doing it. All right? I always was given the example when it comes to that with food. So many indigenous people indigenous to the lands right across Mama Gaia, how they understood nature, how they honored the different aspects of nature, the plants, the animals, the stars, the planets, the land itself. The crazy thing is that you can have someone who's more spiritual, connected to their heart, who honors the animals that they then eat, versus someone who doesn't. It's a frequency thing, again, is what they're showing me. I know not everybody will agree with that, but that's what I've been shown. And I've also been shown the importance of making sure that you are taking care of your body and sustaining yourself in order to do the work here and giving your body exactly what it needs. And doing that with, again, intentionality and love, okay? So we move into this energy of surrendering to something that might not be familiar to us, okay? And then we take off. with this movement card. And see how that's green? The color connected again to the heart, but it's also connected to healing. And remember that green is the color that is the easiest on the eyes. And actually they want me to refrain that. It's not about it being easy. It's about it being the most, oh God, how do I describe this? It's hard to describe. The most soothing, the most natural. Okay. Okay, do you want me to leave it there? Good fortune. Invite magic in as I cut the deck. I'm seeing a lot with the rainbow body there, which is another thing, another reason why they wanted me to use the Prism Oracle. Competition, summon courage and self-confidence. Summon courage and self-confidence. It's tiger moth. That might be a confirmation for some of you. Okay, again, the winged beings connected to this. Okay, however that resonates for you. One more cut in the middle of the deck. Battle of the Blues. Take steps towards positive change. A lot of Lady of the Lake energy there as well. And even though she is connected to water, she's also connected to air because she holds a sword. She speaks truth. Okay, now the Battle of the Blues, they want me actually to reframe that because there is no battle. This isn't about succumbing to certain emotions and letting them overtake you, but it's also coming back to this remembering of emotions are meant to flow. The reason why we associate emotions with the water element is because they're meant to flow, to ebb and flow, not to stagnate. They evolve with intention is what they're showing me. They're showing me the memory of water and how water can hold memory, but water is also like a sponge and water can be programmed very much like crystals. Okay? Very interesting. And again, it goes right back to this, how you infuse energy into something and then how that can be alchemized. So just remember that emotions are feedback. Sensuality. Express your sensuality. A lot of green in that as well. More rainbow energy. Exploring your body. I'm hearing in safe spaces. You know what's interesting? There's a centaur here that has wings. These are energy of beings that do exist, especially in the... They're showing me different they're showing me different forms of even animals in the angelic realm. That's fascinating. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Also, again, the winged ones, connected to the winged ones. There's something about these two together. I'm hearing moving in a sensual way. So essentially, this is about slowing down. Slowing down our movements and moving with intention. That's the energy that's coming through here. Legends at the bottom of the deck. Learn from those who inspire you. A lot of elemental energy in there. All the elements is what I'm getting with that. I'm seeing like the undines, the salamanders, the sylphs, the gnomes. Okay, they still want me to shuffle. I want a couple more here as we close out the reading. So again, coming back, they're reminding me, coming back to getting out of this energy of overthinking. Sensuality is a huge part of that, doing it in a very healthy and intentional way. There is a lot of divine feminine energy here as well. This is also about taking care of yourself and attending to your needs. Even if that means these things are kind of not what you're used to. Trust that they're working for you. Vacation. That's a very straightforward message. Some of us just need a vacation. I'm hearing a magic carpet ride is what we need. So for some of us, it is just an energetic. If we're not in a place right now where we can be actually going to somewhere, physically taking a vacation, it could just be taking time off and creating a vacation in your home. 1616 on the counter. It's a much needed change. There might be a tower moment or a shocking thing that might come up, a revolution in taking a vacation. Take time for relaxation and adventure. I'm getting people hiking with that. I'm seeing mountainscapes. It's butterfly energy again here. A lot of sylph again. A lot of air energy coming through with that. Okay, this is a good way to just, sometimes, honestly, you just need a break from your routine, just to get out of your head. They're saying to me, sometimes it's like a lot simpler than what we think it is. We make it way too big a deal. It just needs to stop. Something needs to break the pattern is what they're saying to me. And now they're showing me the energy of like putting on music when you're feeling like you're out of, like it's out of, I think something's out of whack, or just like, I don't know, taking a break from what you're doing, taking a break from your work, going and making a beautiful meal. 1717 on the counter. It's very healing. Star card energy coming through with that. Allowing your light to kind of express itself in a very simple way. Making something with your hands, cooking a meal, putting on a movie as you watch a beautiful, beautiful movie. And gratitude. Gratitude. Be grateful for all that you have. A practice of gratitude, okay? I think it goes without saying. These are very simple practices that I feel we are overlooking and we are overcomplicating. Having gratitude for even the smallest thing in your life right now, the most basic thing in your life right now, is going to shift the energy and frequency. I'm hearing for some of you, it's going to help you find the answers. Angel of Miracles at the bottom of the deck. Open your heart and expect a miracle. That's just another huge confirmation of the angelic realm coming through for this reading. They're saying to me, all these things can lead to miracles, sensuality, vacation, gratitude, okay? All of these practices. And very, very, very specifically, what I'm getting is making sure that you're tending to your needs. Especially if you're finding that you're not getting the support. Okay. A lot of this is about trusting yourself with whatever you need right now. Okay, I think if there's one takeaway message, one really, really, really simple takeaway message right now, it's that. Oh yeah. You see how that cup is full? Yeah. It's about tending to that proverbial cup right now. Okay. You need to make that the priority for you. Come back home to yourself. All right. I'm going to end it there. Thank you, Archangel Sandalphon, the angelic realm, the Venusian angelic realm, for coming through for this message. The beautiful energies that are here to support us right now as sensitive souls. Thank you for being here. If you're interested in working with me, all that information in the description box below. I'm sending you so much love wherever you are here on beautiful Mama Gaia. In love and liberation always.